How are we doing, guys? It's Nex and I'm back with some more Game of Theories. As you will all no doubt have already seen, on Friday HBO released a bonus trailer as part of the promotion for San Diego Comic-Con. Now, I am a bit late to the party with my video on this, so instead of just doing another breakdown covering the same points that you've probably heard a dozen times by now, I thought I'd do something a little different for you all. I'm going to do what it is that I do best, craft a few theories and make some predictions. So, before we get started, this is your official obligatory spoiler alert. Also, I just wanted to say that 2 of my previous theories were just 100% confirmed thanks to the footage in this trailer. The first one was about how Randyll Tarly would betray the Tyrells in this season in the hopes that Cersei would make them the prominent house within the Reach, which would make him the new Warden of the South. And for the first time, we can see confirmation that Randyll Tarly is in King's Landing with his son Dickon, looking like they're about to make a new alliance with Cersei. For those who aren't entirely sure who the Tarlys are, Randyll Tarly, which is Sam's dad, is the Lord of Hornhill and Bannerman to the Tyrells. Think of them as the Karstarks to the Starks, only historically they have always fought for the Targaryens. The theory was partly based on some of the footage from HBO's Lore and Histories that in short gave the impression that Randyll was bitter about the appointment of House Tyrell to succeed House Gardner in the Reach. If you want to check that out, I'll card it at the end. The second one was about Euron and how he was going to make an alliance with Cersei, which judging from the multiple shots of him returning to King's Landing, he is truly getting a hero's welcoming return. How many of you noticed that Yara was at the end of the shot being pulled along by Euron's horse? Even as he makes it into the throne room, you can see all the lords and ladies applauding him, and then in this last one, he's actually by Cersei's side. Advising her, telling her to do something maybe? Also, we get confirmation of the gift that he promised as we can see Ellaria and her daughter Tyene at the bottom of the shot. I'll card the Euron theory again at the end for anyone who's interested. So, keeping on the topic of Euron, if you're wondering why there's been such a dramatic change in his character from season 6, it's because in the books, he's an unhinged maniac. And even now, I still don't think people are ready for what he will bring. Let's put it this way, if Dan and Dave could have left him out, they would have done, just like they have done with many other characters. He's in this for a pretty big reason, and I'm calling it now, at least one of the major characters in the show will be killed by him. Given that he's marching Yara, Tyene and Ellaria into the capital and straight through the front doors of the throne room, it ain't looking too good for those 3. You can bet that Ellaria and Tyene will be at the mercy of Cersei if such a thing even exists, which makes me wonder, so what is going to happen with Yara? At this point, there is no reason whatsoever to keep her alive unless Euron wants to use her as bait in the hopes that maybe Theon will come for her. If that's not his game, then a brutal public murdering surely has to be on the cards. Okay, so next up, this shot of Jaime and Cersei reigniting their romance is a hell of a lot more significant than people realise, because it's not them rekindling their love, it's Cersei completely pulling the strings on her little puppet. She's simply manipulating Jaime. What you've got to consider is that by this point, she's already made her interest in marrying Euron very clear. He gives her the the Iron Fleet, and she gives him a queen. And honestly, I think she likes him. There were a couple of cheeky little grins and smiles and a slight admiration for him during their introduction. And in regard to declining him first time around, she wasn't exactly about to dish it out on a plate, was she? But look how he handled it. Any man who can take a rejection like that only becomes more attractive in the eyes of a woman. Ladies, back me up. Let's paint the scene. Euron comes back a hero of King's Landing, and Cersei agrees to the proposal. Jaime is hardly going to be thrilled with it all, and at the same time, Cersei can't afford to lose Jaime, so she'll need to give him what he wants if she wants to keep him by her side. The last remnants of Season 1 Jaime will convince himself to go and fight her battles and compete with Euron for her affection, but will it last? How long will Jaime keep it up for when he realizes that Cersei is just using him? Before I move on to the final set of predictions, quick shout out to Jorah. He's still with us, but only just. Zoom in a little, brighten up the shot, and take a look at his chest. The spread of the grayscale is close to completely consuming him, but hopefully Sam read everything in that book, not just the page about Dragonglass being on Dragonstone. You know, the stuff that Stannis told him about back at Castle Black. Anyway, speaking of Dragonstone, we're set for some big scenes here next episode, as they've almost entirely confirmed that Melisandre is the unexpected guest. This shot from above reveals that the way this scene must play out is with Mel already being in the throne room, as you can see that she's on that side, and then Dany and the council are coming in to find her waiting. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I actually believe in Melisandre. Don't get me wrong, what she did with Shireen was probably the most uncomfortable piece of television that I've watched in my entire life, as I have a daughter, but you cannot deny that she has supernatural powers or gifts, whatever you want to call them. She's drank poison, made shadow demons, used blood magic to kill kings, had multiple visions in the flames, and of course, she's resurrected Jon Snow. When it comes to the Red God, we can't deny that his priests have demonstrated the extent of his power and existence. So, when Melisandre speaks the line in the trailer, "I believe you have a role to play, as does another," logically, you have to assume that she's been guided by the Lord of Light in order to believe that. This could very well be the start of them setting up the prophecy about the prince who was promised. The last shot I'm going to talk about is here when Varys walks up beside Mel looking out to the shore. Are these two already acquainted? I get that they might already be aware of one another, but the body language from both of them in this shot is as if they've previously met, completely unfazed by one another. Back in Meereen, it was a bit of a shock moment when Kinvara the Red Priestess revealed that she knew details about Varys' childhood that she could not have possibly known, and in particular the words that were spoken to him as his parts were tossed in the fire. However, it was just a huge tease, as they never actually confirmed what was said. So is this the moment that we could finally get that payoff? Does Mel know, and will she speak the words? I don't know about you guys, but I'm dying to find out. Alright, thank you guys for stopping by. I'm hoping that's given you all something to think about, and if you have your own ideas about things in the video, then make sure you share them with us in the comments below. The Crypts of Winterfell vid will be up in the next few hours, so until then, 7 blessings to you all, and I'll catch you guys tonight.